Mike Tyson's deadliest opponent wasn't a boxer. It wasn't Holyfield. It wasn't Lennox Lewis. No, it was a man behind prison bars, a nameless inmate who made the biggest mistake of his life. This isn't a story about titles or belts or glory. This is about survival. And what happened behind those steel doors was so explosive, so brutal, that even today prison guards still whisper about it. Back in 1992, the unthinkable happened. Mike Tyson, once the most feared man in sports, was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison. One moment he was a global icon. The next, a number on a cell block. Gone were the roaring crowds, the limelight, the championship belts. What remained was a man caged in concrete, stripped of fame, and surrounded by people who didn't care who he used to be. Prison doesn't recognize celebrities. In there, it's not about how many knockouts you had. It's about power. Raw, ruthless, unfiltered power. The kind that keeps you alive. Tyson knew this. He didn't walk into that prison expecting applause. He walked in knowing there were men ready to test him. Men who saw taking down Iron Mike as their ticket to infamy. From the moment he entered, the air shifted. Inmates watched him, whispered. Some stared with awe, others with jealousy, but a few, they stared with hunger. The kind that comes from years of living by violence. They wanted to see if the champ still had it, or if he was just another man broken by the system. Tyson kept to himself, mostly silent, watching, waiting. But prison tension is like a ticking time bomb, and someone was always going to light the fuse. One inmate made it his mission to provoke him. Day after day, pushing buttons, getting in his face, laughing too loud, saying too much. Most people would have cracked sooner, but Tyson held back. Until one day, he didn't. It happened fast, too fast. 1 second, they were exchanging words in the corridor. The next, the guy lunged, a sloppy, aggressive move. Tyson barely flinched. He unleashed a punch so quick, so savage, you could hear the crack echo down the hallway. The inmate dropped instantly. Blood spilled across the floor. Tyson followed up with another blow. Not because he had to, but because in that moment, the beast had been fully awakened. Other inmates froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Even the guards hesitated. This wasn't a prison fight. It was a primal explosion. Tyson didn't look like a boxer. He looked like a man who'd been trying to hold in every ounce of rage, pain, and fear. And it all came out in that single, violent moment. When the alarms sounded and the guards finally pulled him off, it was already over. The inmate was wrecked. Broken ribs, shattered nose, bruises covering his face. Tyson didn't resist. He stood there, chest rising and falling, hands still clenched. They dragged him to solitary. 24 hours of darkness, no contact. But even from isolation, his message spread like wildfire. From that day forward, no one challenged him again. He didn't need to speak. The fear did it for him. The respect was no longer about his name. It was about what he was capable of when pushed too far. Years later, Tyson would open up about that time. Not with pride, but with pain. He admitted that prison broke something inside him. "I wasn't fighting other people in there," he said. "I was fighting myself." But the men who were there that day, they'll tell you, it wasn't just a fight, it was a warning. There's no official record of that incident. No footage, no reports. Some say the guards buried the story. Others say it was too brutal for anyone to ever admit it happened. But the scars, the silence in that hallway, those were real. And Mike Tyson left prison a free man. But a part of him never escaped those walls. Want more stories they tried to bury? Subscribe now because the next one might be even darker. Hit that button and join us before they take the next one down.